Hey, Nicole.
Hey Nikay, how's it going?
Good, good. So, are you ready for today?
Eyes ready.
All right. Well, as usual, we have to get started with our sponsors. So, here we go.
Irby Entertainment, and I'm excited to announce that Irby is in Qatar, and we have DJs in several club hotels that are being featured. So, Irby is growing, but also we have a urban clothing line that will be launching very, very soon. So, look forward to that. I'm excited about things come to fruition for Irby Entertainment. If you're interested in learning more about us, definitely check us out on Facebook, and we'll have a website coming up soon with all of our wonderful products and how to join us when it comes to international DJing.
Sweet. And also,
Sheer Dazzle Salon, and my hair is still straight fire because of because of Miss Sweetie. And happy birthday to the head stylist and owner of Sheer Dazzle Salon, which is Kiki Jones. She is celebrating a birthday this week, and she and I are both Pisces. So you know that whole vibe, creative vibe is flowing along
spicy.
with my hair. So if you're interested, if you're interested in having your hair did and knowing how to keep take good care of your tresses, especially if you're natural, and I am natural, definitely see the ladies at Sheer Dazzle Salon, Chesapeake, Virginia, off of the Sam Circle area.
All right. And finally,
Yes, Color You Cosmetics, and today my face is basic, which that means I have nothing on. Meant to put my face on, but the day got away from me. But well, but needless to say, Sheer Down Salon doesn't. I mean, excuse me. Color You Cosmetics doesn't just have makeup; it also has skincare products. So if you're interested in skincare, because skincare is the foundation of any makeup. If you wonder why your makeup doesn't lay right, or you don't have that natural glow when you don't have your makeup on, it's because of skincare and also diet. But that's a whole other conversation. But if you're interested in the products, definitely follow Karen Stallings, and she has two shops. She has one place here in North Virginia, and she also has an MUA academy here in Norfolk, and she also sells her products out of Lithonia, Georgia. So follow her on Instagram, Facebook, as well as her website.
okay. So, let's get into it. Today's movie is Alien versus Predator. So,
All right.
we're going all the way in on the sci-fi.
Yes, which is a departure when you think about African Americans in film. That's
Mhm.
something that, we didn't get into until later on. When you think about some of the science fiction that was out in the 50s and the 60s, we were rarely, if ever, featured. So this
Right.
is something that's new for us. And most of us, if we were to ask anyone questions about us being a part of sci-fi, we would lean heavily on the one African American that we can remember from Star Trek.
Yep.
And of course she's a trailblazer, but we've had some films since then, but not many. So
Right.
we're going to talk about this one.
But you know what? She's significant because even
Yeah,
though she was not the star, Nichelle Nichols was the one black character on TV at the time that of rank on the show, um, that opened the door for Sanaa Lathan here in Alien versus Predator. She was the lead.
definitely.
Yeah, she was the lead throughout this whole thing, and I'm really trying to rack my brain if there was another sci-fi lead in a major film, and I can't think of one. I think she actually opened the door here on that
And
role.
you and when you think about that possibly being a fact, but definitely for those of you all that follow us, and I'm getting into this a little sooner than later, if you follow us on Facebook, and you're interested in joining our group, this is where, you can chime in and give us those facts that you know about, African American in the film, or blacks in film,
Right.
because a lot of times some of these things kind of escape us. The movies, Alien versus Predator was a movie. So
Mhm.
some movies miss us because they end up being B, C, and D movies, and then going right, from the cutting room floor to being streamed. So some of the movies may have missed us. So if you know of
Right.
any facts in reference to this, we definitely would like to know more about it, because sometimes it's kind of hard to find these things. But
Mhm.
if that is the case, 2004 is late, for us to be, really embarking on that. But I wonder if a part of that is our comfort level with what sci-fi brings to the table,
What do you
and what
mean?
sci-fi is all about. To a certain extent, you know, we tend to be cast in things that are more dramatic, or more in the comedy realm versus
Mhm.
sci-fi. So I wonder if it's more of the thing where when it comes to casting agent, just casting, say, because a lot of this stuff has to do with what's being presented to you, think of
Mhm.
them when it comes to these roles. Do we feel like, as as actors or actresses, or I think everybody's under the moniker of actors now, if this is something we want to sink our teeth into, and it is a departure, so I'm not sure how much people study this when they are going to theater school and they're learning how to act, and and auditioning, and this is something that automatically comes to mind. Hey, I want to be a heroine and in a
Well,
in an
I'll,
alien
I'll
film.
I'll point something out, and this isn't sci-fi necessarily, but I think a lot of the old Hollywood mentality is still present, which, and we
Yeah,
saw it when Black Panther came out. The big question was, are people ready to see an all black cast comic book themed movie? They didn't think it was going to go worldwide. They were hesitant about releasing it internationally. And when they got the response that they got before the movie ever hit the theater, they were like, well, maybe this might work. They still
yeah.
had doubts. They still had doubts. And I think the same thing is still true when it comes down to casting black people in a lead role or major supporting role in within the genre. I don't think Hollywood thinks black people have any kind of interest in, oh, could we be in this part of the future? Could we be an astronaut? Because we've been
Well, I would hope
relegated
that
to everything else.
Well, I would hope that our race wouldn't disappear by the time this stuff actually comes to fruition. That's kind of scary to think that that they're like, oh,
I
there won't
know.
be any black people in the future. But
Yeah.
but
But that's how it's
also,
always been presented.
yeah, that's true. I mean, I'm not going to knock it. I mean, you can only
Yeah.
go by what's been given to us before. But to think that we're just ready in 2004 to accept that, hey, African Americans or people of color will be a part of this and can actually, bring in, because ultimately it's not about white or even brown anymore. It's about green. It's about what's
Mhm.
going to generate the dollars. So I think what people find to be relevant, what people find to be sellable, is
Mhm.
is ultimately what drives the game. And I think that within the last, I would say, 10 years, to me, I feel like within the last 10 years, they're beginning to understand the power of the what they would consider the black dollar or the minority dollar,
Mhm.
and how much we will support something where representation of ourselves is more prevalent. Now, we support a lot, but
Yeah.
you put us in it, it's like, okay, well, maybe I need to support that too. So how did you feel about her as an actress in this role, or actor in this role?
Um, I still kind of feel the same way. It's like, wait a minute, she can do action, because we're so used to seeing her in drama or black romantic comedies. That's
Yeah.
where she gets cast all the time. And I think right now she's in a series where I haven't watched it. She's playing an officer or something like that. So even her, she's outside of that I'm somebody's girlfriend role.
Yeah.
Um, Her overall performance at times, you could tell she was delivering a line. It
uh
wasn't.
It wasn't authentic. You know, you
Yeah.
it seemed forced, and see that's the whole thing. It
Hmm.
goes to that credibility and the level of comfort you feel when it comes to the role that you're playing. You have to immerse yourself, you know, and feel a part of it. I mean, we you and I have talked, and you know, even when Don was on the show, we talked about the background of how people prepared
Hmm.
for some of these films and what it took. Like, you know, some people gained an enormous amount of weight. I think about how oh my gosh, her name escapes me right now. Angela Bassett, how she trained, you know, so intensively
Oh
you
yeah.
know, to
To be
become
Tina.
Tina Turner,
Yeah.
you know, and how you know, how she shadowed Tina, and you know, some of the people that have played Coretta Scott King in the past, especially Cicely Tyson, you know, really got to talk to Coretta and got to know her mannerisms, you know, the things that would make that part sellable
Hmm.
and convincing. So if she seemed a little static at times, I think those were times where she wasn't all the way sold herself when it came to what it is that she's doing. And it can happen, and sometimes it comes through, you know, or you know, that type of thing. So I'm wondering if
Oh
that was the case.
no, in just about everything that I've watched, it's something in her tone, the way she just
Delivers
speak.
lines.
It's just vocally it's flat, and that's in just about everything I've seen her in. What was it? Disappearing Acts. There were
Well, you know what?
times where her voice was kind of flat there, and even in Brown Sugar, there were times where
and
just her
we and we re-
delivery.
we review Brown Sugar. We probably need to go and review Disappearing Acts. I really don't even like to touch that movie, and I know we're off topic because I read the book too soon, and what I mean by that is age wise.
Mm,
And you know when and, you know when Terry McMillan came out, you know, a lot of us got into her books and didn't
mhm.
realize that we weren't grown enough, and I was one of those people. And I still think I'm not grown up. I'll be embarking on being, you know, 47
Mm.
within the next week, and I still think that I read those books 20 years too soon. With that being said, I wasn't sure whether I just really disliked the fact that they made it into
Mm.
so, so yeah, I want to kind of go back and dissect it a little bit more because you know when I watched it the first time, I watched it from the eyes of this is a film I want to see because I read the book, and now I want to kind of see if there is a like you said, you see a theme here where when she delivers her lines, it seems a little bit flat
Mm.
and a little forced in that
Mm.
respect. So we have that part. So when it came to her interactions with you know outside of that, do you think because we said that she's fat, do you think that part of it may have been the plot itself? Because sometimes the plot doesn't help an actor, and we talked about that before. I can't remember what film it
Mhm.
was when we said that. Gosh, the plot was so weak that you know you had to be some type of super actor to make this thing work. Do you think
Mhm.
that kind of contributed to it, or is that a separate issue?
Okay, so here's the thing. There are diehard Alien and Predators fans who
Yes, they
follow
are.
the whole canon who will say, yeah, that's it. The story was crap. I didn't watch every Alien movie. And it had been a long time since I'd seen Aliens or Predator. But as soon as I heard about it, before I saw it, I was like, this is the what if that I will see. And even after I watched it, I love the movie because it's the ultimate what if Alien and Predator met up? What would happen? And so the story that they presented, I thought was great because they gave background on how these two species ended up on some polar ice cap somewhere. There was justification to send out a team because, hey, Whalen likes this kind of stuff. Whalen Corporation loves hunting down the aliens and keeping government secrets and what have you. So the storyline worked for me. I think where she started to get into it, and this is crazy, maybe it's just me, was when she stopped interacting with other people and she had to interact with the alien who didn't have any lines. Because then she could just physically
Be and just be. Yeah.
and the thing is, that's about where the movie picked up and took off for me. And I'm comparing this to Alien versus Predator Requiem because, yeah, after I watched this, I had to go watch that to see. I think Alien versus Predator Requiem, AVP Requiem, that there was no point in that. There was no point in that.
So overall, where would you rate this movie and would you recommend it?
I would definitely recommend it. I give it a 5 out of 5. If you're watching it to say, I've watched the sci-fi movie, I just want to have some, I don't have to think too hard about it fun, this is great. Go ahead and watch it.
Well, for me, it's for a variety of reasons. I would say it's not a waste of a Saturday afternoon,
Mhm.
or sometimes when you don't know what to pick out of all the thousands of movies that are streaming right now.
Mhm.
I would say just give it a shot. But if you are a sci-fi buff, it will probably frustrate you because of how that's no different with people when it comes to Marvel, or anything with that series. When they get into it, and anybody's in, anime or whatever, when they get into what they're into,
Right.
when people or script or film is not authentic to them, it tears the nerves to pieces. I would say if
Mhm.
you're not a sci-fi buff, watch it. If you are a sci-fi buff, then you might want to go in with I guess just an open heart and not be so critical because yeah, not to be so critical.
Yeah. Well, and
So
that's
it's
the
not a
other
waste.
thing.
It's not a waste of your TV
Yeah.
time.
That's the other thing about this too. It's a branch, not even a branch off. It's just creating a whole different canon from the other two movies. And like you said, if you're
Yeah,
die hard for either one of them, you're gonna want to fight the air because why would they do this if you're not willing
yeah.
to go into the what if of it all? Yeah, just yeah.
And some people just feel like some things are better left alone. And we have some films that are coming up soon, or some television series that are spin-offs of films or adaptations. Like right now, there's what Bel Air, which is supposed to be a spin-off of on the Prince of Bel Air.
Actually good.
And I tell you, you talking about the you talking about Civil War.
Yes.
That right there will have millennials against Zen, you know, Zen XZs. It's just
Mm-hmm.
depending on when you came in when it comes to the Fresh Prince, will
Mm-hmm.
determine whether or not that's something that you're going to like. And if so it's a lot to be said about that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good for discussion. So hey, check it out and tell us what you think. Definitely follow us on Facebook. That's where we are. We're on Movies That Movie. That's our Facebook group, and
Movies that move
we have
is
three questions. Go ahead, honey. What you want to
oh,
say?
I was saying movies that movie is a Facebook group. We'll talk about the other thing in a second. Go ahead.
Yes. So the Facebook group has three little leading questions just to kind of make sure that you're not spamming us and stalking us and being extra. We just want to talk about film and share ideas and just kind of delve deep, and even joke about some because there's some really good memes I hear about some of these films. Kind of
Yeah.
shed some light on some things. So that's what we want to do. But what Nikkei was leading to is the fact that we are on YouTube. So, Nikkei, you want to talk about that?
Yes. So the way you find us on YouTube, and I need to create that for this little sidebar thing here, but the way you find us on YouTube is you go to Media That Moves We, and you will find the playlist of everything we've done over the last year. We've been at this for a little over a year now. Can you believe it?
I
Huh.
know that's crazy.
Yeah. So you will find this and all of our other videos there. Like, subscribe, share, because the more the merrier. And what else do we have, Nicole? I think that's about it. Facebook group, YouTube
That's
channel.
it.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know why I feel like I'm missing
And the
something.
fact that you can follow your moderators.
Oh yeah,
You can follow
that.
us.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So Nicole DeCandice. That's where you'll find her. NicoleDeCandice.com. You have anything coming up?
I do now. My website, is being revamped, but you definitely can
Mm-hmm.
find me on Facebook and on Instagram. But I'm so excited because I have a 20-day series coming up based on my book, I Affirm Today.
Okay.
So, and they're quick little snippets because if you get my book, you recognize that I'm not long winded. 100 pages, boom. You get those nuggets, and I'm out. So the same thing goes for that 20-day series. They're no longer than 2 to 3 minutes, and that's it. So you get a little bit, and you're like, okay, it's like a teaser to encourage you to be engaged and kind of think about what your next level is going to look like. So I'm excited about that, and it's a whole rebranding campaign. And the K knows this has been a long time coming, so I'm
Yes.
excited about that.
All right. And then you can find me at nikkei.wordpress.com. I'll get some new stuff up there. But in the meantime, go ahead, read the previous blog, spend the afternoon. Spend the afternoon.
Please challenge her because we are in a group where we're challenging one another to get back to writing. The plus for me is that I'm still writing. I write for a digital magazine off the bench, so I do that once a month. But Nikkei was more prolific in writing, so we need to get her. So hold her to
I need to,
task,
I
put
need to
put
get
her
back.
feet to the fire,
Yes.
and send her a message. Say, hey,
Beg for
I
things.
want some more content. Beg for it.
Yes.
Encourage her, inspire her to do that because she's really good at what she does.
Thank you. And we cannot do all of this without acknowledging the man who started it all, Don Miskell. You can find him at donmiskell.com. If you're just coming in on this video, he passed away earlier this year, but we ain't forgetting him because, A, would we be doing this? Would we be doing
No,
this otherwise?
no, no, we
He
wouldn't.
wrote this.
He did. He wrote this all for us. And the crazy thing is,
Mhm.
we all had our own several projects. Like old people say, several projects going on. Not separate, but several projects
Yeah,
going on. And he created this in our conversations and how we go back and
mhm.
forth and almost fall out with one another and not talk for hours and then get back to talking because we cannot like not be friends. Like, I'm
Right,
mad at you, I'm just not gonna talk to you. 5 minutes later,
right.
what you eating? So
Exactly.
so he kind of like got this together, and we're gonna take it on, as our thing because that's what he would have wanted, and now it's become a love of ours. So hope it
Right.
becomes a love of yours, and you'll join us on this quest.
Yeah. And make sure you look him up on Amazon as well. He has 3 or 4 books and several
Yes,
anthologies that he's participated in. And if Nicole thinks I'm prolific, well, he's like that times 50. So
yeah,
definitely check out his works. Um, yeah, Don Miskell. And we cannot move on and not acknowledge the opening music you heard by Robert Rice Jr. Check him out at smoothology.net. He has a whole .net. It sounded like I said something else. Okay. He has a whole album on his page. Go check it out, download it. Robert Rice Jr. And that is the show for today.
that is.
Until next time, we'll see you later.
Bye bye.
Bye.